be starting in 2 minutes. And as I said, we will be taking questions after the live session is concluded. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Greetings from CCE Finland. Welcome to yet another webinar, which is going to talk about and celebrate Finland education and its implementation. Thank you very much for all of our audience members who have joined today from various parts of the world. And we are going to talk today about Finland education and its implementation. My name is Simran Balani. I'm the Chief Operating Officer and Pedagogical Expert with CCE Finland. I see a lot of audience members joining us now. So you haven't missed much. We have just started. A warm welcome to this webinar, which is for passionate educators like us who want to bring in the transformation in education, who love everything about Finland. And I'm often asked, can this be implemented in Asia? Can this be implemented in other parts of the world? My answer is always yes. And this series of webinars is to showcase the case studies, talk to us about, now that we're talking about an Indian context of national education policy and how they can be really implemented in any kind of school setup, in any kind of classroom. What we are trying to do is, through the pedagogy, make student an independent thinker, a problem solver, and very important, what we learn from Finland is lifelong learning. So on this note, I, Simran Balani, welcome each one of you. I'm joined with a vibrant team of CCE Finland's back-end and front-end. We have Joachim, who's our Education Growth Manager. We have Nelly, who's our Pedagogical Director. And I have my robust back-end team, Ms. Nandini, who's our Administrative Manager, and Mr. Kalyan, who handles our social media and our website. So a warm welcome to all of you, all our audience on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. We welcome you. As I said, I'm often asked when I meet the educators is, Finland education is so popular. What is the secret? How is Finland being ranked a happiest country year after year? How is the education at the epicenter of whatever Finland does? And how can we bring it to our country? And can we bring it to our country? The answer is yes. In fact, we all as a team, CCE Finland, are proud to, and we are celebrating the success and proud to announce that we had a Finland delegation visiting our Chennai school, and where they saw the real-time implementation of phenomenal-based learning. And it has been such an incredible journey to work with them for last 2 years. We just published the blog yesterday, and my colleague will share the link for our audience on all the channels. We encourage you to please read that blog, because that's a real case study of how Finnish phenomenal-based learning has been implemented and now is going to be a part of the formative assessment. So this has just happened 24 hours back in our Chennai school, and the ambassador was quite happy and impressed to see this learning outcome and the joy of learning, and everything being front-end by the students and teachers actually acting as the facilitators. So on this note, I once again welcome you to this beautiful evening. It is evening here in very nice weather of Bangalore, and we will get started. The first segment of this webinar will focus on talking about what all CCE Finland brings to make sure you can implement all of this in your school, in your institution, in your profession. The second part will talk more about the Finnish secrets, and Nelly will also give us insights of her one-on-one working with Indian teachers and parents. And finally, I will share a small case study and some of beautiful projects that we are doing, we have done in India, and we're continuing to do so. So on this note, I give the floor to Mr. Joachim, and he will introduce himself and take us through what are the services that CCE Finland offers, which can help you implement Finland education. Over to you, Joachim. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simran. And indeed, good afternoon, good evening for most parts of the world already. And greetings from Finland, Helsinki, where I am based, and many of our colleagues as well in Finland. My name is Joachim Rooli, and I work here at CCE as an education growth manager. And the role has the most to do with our current services and products and how our community and the people in our network want to use those products and services. So, what I'm going to introduce you today are the kind of basic levels of how you can implement some of those services and what we've done in the past with our network and community members. But that does not mean that we are limited to it. So almost every day I get some questions of, we have this kind of a situation in India or Pakistan or Nepal or Nigeria or United States where we would love to implement more Finnish education policies and creativity into our education. Is this possible? And we always, as Simran said, that this is very, very much possible. We localize a lot of the aspects of it. And it's also looking outwards, about thinking out of the box and looking, because we have to do this together. We cannot do this alone. It is all about collaboration and doing this and achieving these things together. And when we talk about our community and network, I talk about educators, I talk about parents, I'll talk about school leadership. I talk about municipality and decision makers in schools and anything regarding education. Of course, learners, who are the most important part. And something that always connects those the people in our network are two things. One is the curiosity towards Finnish education in one way or another. They might be already quite well researched about it and some aspects of it, or they might be just heard a few things. They heard that Finland was voted to be the happiest country in the world this year again, or there's something about the Finnish education and a holistic way of education that there's something we want to learn more. And everybody are equally welcome. And the other thing is that regardless of the cultural differences, regardless of the physical distance of ourselves, there's something that connects us well is the willingness to improve education, a willingness to offer the best possible services for our teachers and our learners. But without further ado, I want to introduce a little bit more about CCE and what do we do. So just a moment, I'll share my screen. Here we are. And Nelly or Simran, could you clarify or confirm that these slides are visible?
Yes, it is. Thank you. Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful. Indeed, we are called Council for Creative Education Finland, and our headquarters are based in Tampere, Finland, third biggest city here in Finland. Roots in the very kind of hardworking labor city, but we operate all over the world. And this is a great place where we connect the educational practices and the leadership and the knowledge from Finland to all over the world. We do with this a lot with other partners, which I'm going to share in just a moment. But warm welcome to everybody. So what do we actually do? We could see ourselves as an educational consultancy, our partner supporting schools and different type of organizations who want to improve their educational practices and guide them towards their goals. So this means that we offer everything from teacher training and professional training in terms of 6 to 8 weeks online training, or then also physical on-site trainings. And these topics I'm going to talk a little bit further, but it can include also early childhood education, teacher training programs, and such. AI is a huge topic at the moment in everybody's lips, and everybody seems to be looking for resources of how can we use it in our advantage instead of focusing on the risks. Then we also focus on very long-term concept projects with school development projects, which can last from 8 months up to 5 years. So this is a long-term commitment that we do, and it is all about focusing on wanting to develop a school either in kind of a shorter term or very ground up, where we have only the walls perhaps of a school, but we want to design more learning spaces, assessment, and such things. We also want to educate we want to celebrate educators and education all around the world. So that's why we offer a once a year conference where we celebrate this. This year we were focusing on well-being of the educators and learners. And this year we're going to be, or sorry, next year we're going to be focusing on leadership and how to develop that, what kind of things need to take into account. And then, of course, everything that we do is based on research. And that is the level of quality that we have to put into our work, is that everything that we do, everything that we offer is based on research. That is not only for ourselves, but it is also for our partners. Without this, we would not be able to do what we do. And I always see as collaboration as something where we connect the best parts of each organization and bring them together to build something wonderful. And some notable organizations that we collaborate with is called Education Finland. They oversee the quality of their members or member organizations. We talk about university collaboration, governmental collaborations, school, companies, and other partners. Just saying that this would not be possible without collaboration. But about our services and products, I gave a little bit overview about it already, but accreditation goes under our school development programs. It is a bit shorter, approximately 8 months to a year and a half program, where we look at what the school or organization is already existingly doing. This works as a confidence catalyst. It is for global prestige, and we do this with expert guidance. We want to offer that. It is a voluntary, non-governmental process to highlight the excellent work that the school organization is already doing. And this includes phases of preparation and self-examination, which is a very reflective part of the journey. And with this, we have the expert committee focusing on with the teachers and researchers and school leaders who then review this material, going from everything from the materials that the schools are using to the assessment to the teacher training and everything. So this is a really reflective part of the journey. And when we start planning an on-site visit, where our team visits the school on local setting, and we look at what are the processes currently in place and what are your goals and how much work does it take to get to your goals. And we are able to then form a 360 overview. We are able to form this gap analysis to see how much further we still have to get going in order to meet those goals. And then it's about the continuous review, even after accreditation. That's not the end point, that is just the starting point where we start the collaboration and meeting with you regular basis. Then we can always talk about Finnish education and we can show pictures, we can show articles, but it's a completely different thing to experience it yourself. And we want to offer this. And this is something that is a very core part of our business as well. We have in our over 10-year expertise and years of service, we have hosted over 2,500 educators all around the world who have visited us here in Finland. We visit schools and we give a good overview of workshops about the kind of basic understanding of what Finland is and Finnish culture is all about before moving to the teacher training and school visits. These include also opportunities to network with other educational professionals and accommodation as well. So it is really educative and inspiring journey. And I already talked about a little bit about the teacher training as well, because this is a huge part of teachers and educational professionals who want to take their skills to the next level and maintain them as well. These topics are such as early childhood education, creative pedagogy, collaborative learning, co-teaching, leadership, phenomenon and project-based learning, AI, STEM, and social emotional learning. And some of our biggest groups are teacher and teacher students, principals and school leaders, researchers, and school administrators. So these can be individual teachers who want to get their next levels to the next level, Or these can be school leaders or principals who see that our schools teachers want and need to get to the next level with their skills. We were going to take a training together or this kind of training journey together. Ask for more information and we'll leave my contact information at the very end. AI, I wanted to keep it as a separate part because it's such a big topic at the moment. And everywhere we talk with schools and educators, it is a big topic. And instead of focusing on the opportunities, it presents a lot of threats to schools because teachers also are not aware of all the opportunities. And when it comes to assessing project works, when it comes to assessing students' work and exams, it is really become difficult, more and more difficult to see what is possible with AI, what is the kind of negative side of AI, and what can we do to give this confidence to all the educators out there who are part of assessing their students' work. And when we talk about sisu is something, it is a word, our concept in Finland, in Finnish society, that is really difficult to translate. It came after Second World War, where we were against a much bigger enemy, against Soviet Russia. And it was about this idea of continuing and persisting when everybody else quits. So this is a mentality that we had to engage as an entire society during the Second World War, and it has left its root deep into the society today. And it's also part of our educational system as well. So we have transformed this also to our Sisu box and Sisu products, where Sisu box is something. It's a celebration to all educators in early childhood education worldwide. In Finland, each family gets a maternity box when their first child is born, it giving the essential products and information to give the best possible uh, kind of welcome to their new child. And we wanted to do this also for early childhood educators all around the world, not requiring technology or not requiring very, how would you say, very technical and very complicated materials in order to learn the very basics of reading, writing, counting, and colors and forms. So this is something we want to provide for all educators around the world. A package easily to send all around the world. But if you want to take a step further, you can always, we offer CISU franchises. This is something that for anybody looking for a concept designed by early childhood educators, architecture professionals, and leadership experts from Finland. These schools are based on 4 principles, as in CISU: seeking knowledge, igniting imagination, sharing and sustaining, and unlocking the potential. And what this is really about, anybody who is looking for improving or opening a new school, we offer these franchise services, including branding, business planning, customizations, and marketing services, and also teacher training. So this is also about a bigger project that we are also offer. So I'm really looking forward to have and continuing these conversations after our webinar to continue this. And at core, it is to build a foundation for learning that will enable children to lifelong learners to thrive in the dynamic world. And this is focused a lot on play-based learning as is Finnish education, cultivating creativity and social emotional development. Thank you so much. And I'm really looking forward to continuing the conversation afterwards with all of you. We'll leave my contact information at the very end. So looking forward to continuing this. So thank you so much. And Nelly, I would give the floor to you.
Thank you, Joachim. I will first ask my colleague Simran if she has something that she wants to add to what we just heard from Joachim.
Thank you so much, Nemi. Joachim, thanks a lot for giving us an insight on CCE Finland's offering. Just few things to clarify on generic questions that we get. First is accreditation. So what is accreditation doing is basically, I hear a lot from educators when I visit their schools saying, we're already doing work in the 21st century schools. We're already doing a lot of work in project-based learning, but we would like to do it in phenomenon-based learning. And we are trying to get to the level which NEP expects. So what do we do with CCE Finland? My correct answer is apply for accreditation. Accreditation is a 6 months process in which we look into what are your best practices, give you a 360-degree evaluation. We meet your parents, your teachers, your leadership, your students. We evaluate your current study methods, your assessments, your learning spaces. And finally, we give you gap analysis along with the accreditation. And for 2 years, we work with you to make sure that you are meeting these goals that we set in the gap analysis to become the CCE Finland NEP model school. So a very simple 3-step process is to apply for accreditation, where you're already doing a lot of things, but you want to get to that perfect model level of NEP and Finland. Another thing that we are often asked is that, do you also give teacher training in as a part of accreditation? The answer is yes, because as a part of this gap analysis, you already get 3 teacher trainings free, which is included in your program. And we meet you every quarter, and this is valid for exactly 2 years from the day you start your accreditation process. The second question I have been asked is that, can you choose programs as per your school's vision from our teacher training catalog? The answer is yes. Can your teachers do certain programs at the self-paced mode? The answer is yes. If you want us to do a hybrid mode, we are more than happy to do it for a group of 20 plus. And finally, for Finland education tours, we often get asked that, do we need to take the entire package, or can we just come for the school tour? The answer is yes, you can just come for the school tour also. Regarding CCE franchisee, again, it is an end-to-end solution for your kindergarten to grade 2, which is the new NEP foundational structure. Yes, and you can make sure that you can use that if you are planning, and if you are kind of planning to open a new preschool. If you are an existing preschool, we have a separate accreditation, which is only for kindergarten. And of course, the process is more or less the same, but it is only structured for your kindergarten, because Finland, as a research organization, we specialize in our early years. So these were the few questions that I wanted to answer following Joachim's in-depth presentation. Thank you, Joachim, for that. And yes, thank you very much, Nelly, for giving me this brief period to explain all these things, because these are very common questions that we see and hear from the educators. And now the floor is yours, Nelly, to talk about Finland, why it is happy, what does it takes to create that magic of education, and finally your experience when you visited India and worked with teachers. Over to you, Nelly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simran. So good afternoon from Finland, also from my side. My name is Nelly Louhivuori, and I am the Pedagogical Director for CCE Finland. And why it is so special for me to talk about Finnish school is because I also have background in teaching, and I have been a teacher in Finland for several years. And that is the reason why I am here so proudly talking about Finland and Finnish schools. If on the other side of the screen I have people who doesn't know so much about Finnish school, well, this is a good opportunity for you to learn more, and then we can also continue the discussion later on. But now, today we start with the short video about Finnish schools. So just a moment, I will share my screen and then we can continue.
Monilukutaito.
While one country put men on the moon, another introduced a school reform that changed a small nation's fate once and for all. That was us, Finland. children living north of the Arctic Circle in Lapland, and those whose home is in the bustling capital city of Helsinki in the south, all take part in one of the world's best education systems, regardless of their social background or mother tongue. Children in Finland are all given equal learning opportunities and get to learn at their own pace. Finland ranks high in both equality and innovations. To be a teacher in Finland, you need a master's degree. Our teachers are well qualified to adopt the latest digital innovations and pedagogical approaches in their teaching. But most importantly, our world-class learning outcomes are achieved through the joy of learning. One small step for children, one giant leap for humankind.
So there you saw some basic concepts of the Finnish school and, for example, the equity and joy of learning that were mentioned in the video. And especially the joy for learning is something that I would like to highlight from the Finnish school, because I think it is one of our biggest goals in Finland. And we want to make the school a place where the students, they want to come, and where they feel that they are home, they feel seen and they feel heard. And as a teacher or as a school community, how can we do something like that? So we have to make sure that school is for everyone, regardless of their gender, their socioeconomic background, and the children, that they can go to the neighborhood school that is near to their home. Then, of course, we have to take into account different needs, because the students, they are different and they have different needs, and they need different kinds of support systems for their learning. So we have to take into account these different needs individually, and also explain the students that every one of us needs help in something in life, and need of help is a positive thing. Then we have to help the students to find their strengths. And also in Finland, it's really common to use positive pedagogy. And it's also related to finding the strengths of the students. Then we emphasize the collaboration and how to do together. We practice these skills of collaboration, and it includes also the cooperation among teachers, which in my opinion also leads to joy for teaching, not only joy for learning. And one key point is that we try to learn for life and not only for school, and that makes the learning more meaningful for the students. And we are not only studying and practicing academic skills, but we are studying skills for life, as collaboration or multiliteracy skills. And also in Finnish schools, we have different subjects, not only the academic skills subject, but we also have music, arts, crafts, home economics, all these different things to support these learning for life skills. Next, I will show you another video, and it's about how to learn these skills in school. And it's in Finnish, but with the English subtitles. And in this video, you will see the teacher explaining how these different skills are not taught separately, but in every subject that the students are studying.
Monilukutaito on semmoinen kaikki oppiaineet kattava laaja termi, ja meillä ei ole sillä tavalla, että meillä olisi joku oppitunti, jonka aiheena on nyt sitten monilukutaito, vaan se sisältyy oikeastaan kaikkeen siihen opetukseen. No monilukutaito, tai jos ajatellaan sillä tavalla, että minkälainen on monilukutaitoinen opiskelija, niin opiskelija pystyy ajatellaan vaikka internetsivuja, niin ymmärtämään siitä, että minkälainen vaikka tieto on luotettavaa, miten sitä tietoa luetaan, hyödynnetään siinä oppiaineessa, opetuksessa, mutta myöskin omassa elämässä. No jos ajatellaan, että minkälainen niin kuin maailma nykyään on, niin Meillähän on ihan hirveän paljon niin kuin dataa, meillä on ihan hirveän paljon erilaista tekstiä, kuvaa, videota. Ja nykymaailmassa ei riitä pelkästään se, että osataan lukea oppikirjaa, vaan pitää myöskin ymmärtää sitä ympäröivää maailmaa ja sitoa niitä oppiaineen ilmiöitä, käsitteitä, asioita kaikkeen siihen, mitä ympärillään näkee. Ja monesti opiskelijoitakin tulee semmoisia uusia ideoita, niin näyttää mulle jotain asioita, vaikka että pystyisikö tämmöisen tekemään tai onko tämä totta, niin sitten saattaa joskus vaikka kokeilla semmoista, että onnistuisiko tämmöinen asia. Ja ne on musta niin hirveän innostavia kokemuksia, koska no ensinnäkin se idea-ajatus tulee opiskelijoilta ja sitten saa vähän itsekin testata uutta. Ja jollain tavalla vielä sitoa se siihen oppiaineen opetukseen. Meillä on Suomessa korkeakoulutettuja opettajia, joilla on vahva pohja omasta oppiaineestaan ja sitten siitä opettamisesta, niin me pystytään pitkäjänteisesti kehittämään sitä omaa työtä ja pysymään niiden ajan ilmiöiden niin kuin tasalla. Mikä tässä on niin kuin parasta, niin ajattelen sillä tavalla, että jos opiskelija on tämmöinen monilukutaitoinen, niin sitten tämmöiset niin kuin tulevaisuustaidot on myöskin hyvät. Silloin selviää tässä koko ajan monimutkaisemmassa maailmassa.
I wanted to show you this video because I think it has a few really important points that this teacher just explained. How it is important to hear the students, and if they have some ideas that they want to study further, the teacher can have the time to explore these students' ideas together with the students. And I think that is the key to make the studying meaningful, that the students they understand that the things that they ask or things that they want to understand better have a meaning, and many times these problems or phenomena they want to explore more are really related to life, and that makes also this learning that they do at school, it's transferable, so that these skills and this knowledge that they acquire at school, it's something that they really learn for life. And I think behind all this is the trust that is really important in Finnish schools. So in Finland, we trust the teachers, and the profession of a pedagogical expert, a teacher, it's really respected, and I really hope that it lasts like this. But we trust the students, and we give them this active role in their learning and planning the schoolwork, because they can do that. And we trust that the learning happens in school and outside the school, even though we are not testing it all the time with the standardized testing or different exams every week. We can evaluate the learning in different way. And I have been to India and I have met Indian teachers, and this trust and freedom are concepts that I really reflected after discussing with Indian teachers, because I noticed that they know that they are experts of their subject or the content that they are teaching, but they might feel that they are not trusted in having the freedom in their work. So if they skip a chapter from the book that they are teaching, the parents might suddenly give them feedback that, hey, my child is not learning all the things from the book as they should. And this make the teachers feel really that they were, I saw them struggling with their work, because they wanted to have different kinds of materials or different kinds of points of views to their teaching and different pedagogies, but they did not feel trusted to do these changes. And I think with this thing that I am now explaining, I want to share that we have seen these challenges, and we have worked with different teachers around the world, and we know how to support teachers and how to support schools and families in these changes if you want to do these changes together with us. So I just want to highlight that it's possible and that we can do it together. And yes, that's my speech about Finnish schools. And Simran, do you want to take the floor, or do you want to also ask something about me or teaching in Finland or Finnish school?
Thank you very much, Nelly. I think that these are good pointers, and I'm sure there are many teachers who relate to what you're saying, especially here in India or around Asia, where there is a kind of a pressure of syllabus rather than the skill that the child will get. And that is one of the things that, Nelly, you were also there. We were working alongside with parents, just not on their well-being, but also helping them understand that if the technology, if the way we are living has changed, so has the education. So also the learners have changed. What was in our time, the rote learning was okay, but this time, exploration, independent thinking, all of this is necessary because we are preparing them for the jobs which we don't even know. So yeah, well said into saying that they have pressure. And it is also very important here for the school leaders to make sure that they are kind of, giving that confidence to their teachers. And that's where, again, we come back to the teacher training. Because when we talk about this teacher training, more and more we are trying to instill this confidence that they are the pedagogical expert and they know how which way do they want to, kind of go through the syllabus, but make sure that the child is at the center of the learning. Right? So yeah, I think, Nelly, you've covered most of it. Thank you very, very much. And in the final segment, I would like to take you through a case study. This is just one case study, but as I said, we have a lot of research backing the work that we do, and we are proud of this research. And one of the things that we have witnessed just 48 hours back is the testament to what all we believe as a CCE Finland team saying. Our programs are about implementation. Our courses are about implementation. It is not a certificate. We are often asked, in which country, what certificate is valid. But yes, we have the validity. We are a part of Education Finland. But what is most important and drives us and keeps us going is what the teacher or the educator who's doing our course or the school that is doing our program is bringing into the classroom. And our Chennai visit or other work that we are doing with school is a testament of our commitment to the implementation in the classrooms. So Nelly is going to help me share the slides today. And very briefly, I'm going to talk about our Finnish education and NEP implementation. And I please draw your focus and attention to this, especially the school owners, the school leaders, principals, teachers. If you see on one side, we are talking about NEP, the core essential, the critical thinking. They are looking at interactive classrooms. They're looking at experiential learning, 21st century skills, global citizens, and Finnish education at the core of it is teacher training, student agency, which means student being at the center of the learning, skill versus the content, and making the real world connection. On the next slide, you will find a more deeper insight into the same. So let's look at how Finland today is rethinking competencies. Let's look at this because it will help us more deeper to understand how our NEP is complementing this particular structure. So they want the students, the children, to be developed as a human being and as a citizen. So it is just not about academics. It is about thinking and learning, culture competence, taking care of oneself, multiliteracy, ICT competence, competence for the world of work of entrepreneurship, where they are able to think like a leader, think like a business person, and participation and influence, building a sustainable future. And at the center of all of this is knowledge, skills, values, attitudes, and will. On the next slide, we get to see what is NEP talking about. And again, I draw your attention here. Respect for diversity and local context, we read there, equity and inclusion, community participation, use of technology, which we spoke again there, emphasis conceptual understanding, unique capabilities, that means every student is unique, and making sure that we're just not talking to the class of 20 or 30, but making sure that our lesson plans are more compatible for the diverse learners in our class. Critical thinking and creativity, and continuous review. What we do when we come to your schools, and especially when we are doing the programs on implementation of Finnish pedagogy, which is called as IFC 101, we make meters. One is, of course, the Finland education, and another is your local education policy, whether it is Asia, Thailand, Indonesia, or any other country, and to see the synergies. Because when you see the synergy, you will see the topmost goals from the bird's eye view are the same. On the next slide, we will just take one case study of one of the schools where we started working with the leadership and teacher training programs. We did the real-time implementation. We launched NEP model school after the real-time implementation. We have NEP experience stations which children are using for their experiential learning. And then, of course, we have the NEP Finnish implementation. So, of course, as we talked, one of the key areas is seeing is believing. The educators in the next slide you can see came to Finland to do this educational tour after they sign up with us. In the next slide, you see once they have done that and we start working with them, we launch as the model school or the school which is doing the Finland pedagogy. And this goes the same for the accreditation also. In the next slide, you will see that we are working on first layer, which is the leadership, the principal, the vice principal, and the HODs on something called as one of our key programs, which is postgraduate diploma in pedagogical leadership. In the next slide, I'm going to showcase that how this program transformed the schools, a simple library, into a model learning space. What I'm trying to showcase here to everyone is these are the real case studies. This is the outcome of one of the programs as a part of the school development or the work that we do with schools. In the next slide, we will see more training programs that we do with teachers, like project-based learning. And now in this project-based learning, we do two segments. We work with the teachers. They in turn work in the classroom, and we also work with students directly. And in the next slide, you can see that there is a transformation of a classroom, and under the project of My School, My Design, My Class, My Design. And this is something that was done as a part of project-based learning. And both the classrooms you can see have been transformed as a part of a learning process. And yes, of course, schools do all the revamp, but what we wanted to bring a change was the student at the center of even designing their classrooms and learning a lot of things. So they learned about architecture, they learned about plumbing, painting, space designing, etc. And then we work a lot of programs with teachers in early years. We work on CCE pedagogy, on CCE box. And then in the next slide, you can see all of these programs that we are working, early childhood. And what we also see, Nelly, on the next slide, we can see how they are transforming. We do these workshops, we do these brainstorming sessions. We from here get involved and talk to parents as to what you will see in the months to come, so that they are aware why we are doing more of hands-on learning. And you will see that there are learning spaces that are being designed. And here you see these are the learning stations. These are the students working with the CCE box that we mentioned. And this is again a hands-on learning that they are doing. Let's see this quick video of children exploring. These are grade 1 and 2 students, and the CCE box is meant for ages 3 to age 8. And these are 6 to 7-year-old students working on one of the learning materials of CCE box called as Story Cubes.
Pick up the dice one by one and roll it. Yes, that's great. Wow, now we have got the pictures, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pictures we have got. So now, Tanush, will you help me to frame a story with these pictures?
Yes.
Go ahead.
There was a boy, his name was Tom. Then he was one to have a surprise from Santa. He fell
And one of the other projects and very key areas that we work on is social emotional learning. And under that, we work, as we said, one of the key competence was independent working, independent living, and they should be able to do their things independently and as an independent thinker also. So one of the key projects that were launched about 2 years back when India was celebrating its 75th years of independence was Independent Country and Independent Me. Here, the children, right from kindergarten, are setting up goals along with their teachers, along with their co-students, into all of these segments as applicable according to their age and global citizenship, health and safety, managing their daily lives. Economic empowerment, we did a very lovely project with grade 9 and above, who made sure that they are going to be very aware of how the expenses are, how the income comes in, how the utility bills are paid, how they can contribute to all of this, how they can become financially sustainable. Then we talk to them about environmental sustainability, emotional intelligence, and not to forget lifelong learning. In the following video, you can see brief snippets of how parents and students have embraced this project now, which is a moment.
Wear my time to prepare a healthy and easy snack and to sew a button all by myself. It has also helped me excel in my academics. Thank you.
Really happy to see that kind of a transformation in her. We also strongly believe that learning such skills at a very young age is really essential to become a responsible citizen in future. We thank the respected principal and teachers of the Silicon City Academy to give equal importance to the personality development programs such as Independent Country, Independent Me.
Now after this ICM project only, I'm doing everything on my own self. Like bathing on my own self, putting shoes on my own self, socks on my own self, and putting dresses on my own self.
Because after this project, my son is doing all his work. He is doing himself only.
This ICIM project has helped me do all my tasks very independently. Now I can wash my vessels after food and can also cook the whole meal for my family. This is a drastic change in me, which makes me really happy. Thank you.
Independent country, independent me. Independent country, independent me.
So this is just one of the projects that we want to showcase where we focus on the social emotional learning, other projects that we do. And when I say project, it is not that we start at one point and we just say 3 months it is over. These are spread over the years so that we can make sure that we see what are the differences that we are making with the students, how they are progressing. We keep a note of this. We make sure that there are research papers out, so it helps the other educators also. We do something called a student teacher time, because usually the circle time is until kindergarten and everything changes when child comes to grade 1. But we wanted to make sure that there is some bonding time, some social emotional learning time when the children are coming to the school, and then they start the day together. In the next slide, we can see more information. So on this note, I will come to this very important segment where we would really like to come and visit. We are conducting tours right from June, and these will go on until September in India as well as in Thailand. We will encourage you to please make an appointment with us if you are having the vision to implement Finland and NEP, which is your national education policy, in your school in a structured manner, okay, and bring the student learning at the center. please do connect with us. Here is our main contact information. We will be posting this on all our channels. Thank you very much for listening to us patiently and giving your attention to this key segments where we are talking about how do we really bring in the change. And I'm so proud that if your school is doing this, please talk to us. And I'm happy to share this as a case study with you because one of the things that we promised in our webinar is that we are going to talk about how actually it has been implemented. And there are tons of case studies, one which we have already shown you, but there are so many more. Please visit our blog pages, our research papers, and you're welcome to connect with all of us. Thank you very much once again to all our audience. I already see that we have audience around 12 countries joining us. And yes, this YouTube video will be available for you to show it to your team. On this note, I will thank Nelly and Joachim for explaining all the most important information, and my backend team. Thank you very much. We have an audience here, so thank you very much for registering and joining. And we will connect one-on-one with you and make sure that we are answering your questions. And on this note, I wish you a very, very happy week. And if you're going to take a summer break in June and July, I wish you a very good summer out there. Take care and do connect with us. And we look forward to meeting you in our next Wednesday webinars. Take care. Bye-bye.